I wasn't too fond of the first Hellblade. I appreciated it and thought that it definitely had qualities, most notably the binaural audio and the strong subject matter, but I didn't think it was that good of a game. Despite this, I decided to play Hellblade 2 this year, and realised something. I had been viewing Hellblade all wrong. As a video game, the Hellblade series features simple combat and mostly tedious puzzles. That's where I was going wrong. I was judging Hellblade by traditional video game standards, when I should have been judging it for what it is, a surreal, narrative experience with flawless visuals and thematic depth that rival some of the best in the industry. The gamey elements of Hellblade 2 are incredibly simple. The combat works, but it's incredibly basic. You face off against an enemy and either light attack, heavy attack, block, dodge, or use focus to end the fight immediately. Enemy attacks are very easily telegraphed and there's little challenge involved in the overall game. The voices in Senua's head often tell you exactly what to do in terms of blocking and dodging. They'll give hints in terms of whether you should light attack or heavy attack. This is one element of the argument some people have about the game essentially playing itself, where it filters into the gameplay. These voices fit the theme of the game perfectly. It's Senua's mind. We are hearing internal thoughts, so it makes sense from a thematic perspective, but from a game perspective, it does take away some of the player's agency. This is where I'd been viewing Hellblade wrong. Yes, Hellblade 2 is a video game, but that is only the medium of choice used as a vessel to propel the overall experience. A couple years back, I played a game called Kentucky Route Zero. A lot of people didn't get Kentucky Route Zero. It doesn't play like a usual video game would. I do have a separate video on Kentucky Route Zero, so I won't spend too much time on here, but it's a similar ethos. Kentucky Route Zero uses the medium of video games as a vessel to tell its story. It's a story about absurdism and addiction, obsession and loss. There's nothing else out there quite like it, and it's one of the most unique and impactful pieces of media that I have ever experienced, and if it wasn't a video game, I have never touched it. Now, Hellblade 2 is a lot more of a video game than Kentucky Route Zero is. There's combat, there's puzzles and all that jazz, but none of that is really the focus. The focus is on the overarching experience of its themes, and when I started viewing Hellblade this way, rather than as a video game, I began to appreciate Hellblade 2 a lot more than I expected to, having felt indifferent about the first game. Hellblade 2 continues to explore its mental health with the same intensity as its predecessor. The game delves even deeper into Senua's psychosis, providing a visceral experience of her mental struggles. The developers have collaborated with mental health professionals to ensure an accurate and respectful portrayal. The theme of resilience is even more pronounced in this game. Senua's journey reflects the ongoing struggle with her inner demons and her efforts to heal. The game emphasises the strength required to confront and manage mental health issues. There are numerous times the voices in Senua's head float around the idea of retreating and going back, yet Senua never does. This resilience is paramount to her character growth, as she sets out to complete her goal of taking down the giants. Senua's personal story does still remain central to the core plot as expected. The game explores her relationships, past traumas and emotional growth. It delves into themes of loss, grief and the search for redemption, providing a compelling emotional arc. Senua uses her past trauma as fuel to continue on when current events seem hopeless. It is very clear to see how the past has affected her, but also how much stronger she has become. Senua encounters new characters who influence her journey. These characters add depth to the story, offering new challenges and perspectives. Both allies and antagonists play crucial roles in shaping Senua's path. I really liked every major character in this game. They all contributed heavily to the story. Nobody feels as though they're just along for the ride or there for no reason, and as a result of this, you want to listen to each piece of dialogue because you're so locked in to what this game is trying to say that you don't want to miss anything. The game's storytelling is more intricate, with complex character interactions and emotional depth. The use of sound and visual effects enhances the immersive quality of the story. I am deeply impressed by this game's emotional impact and the seamless integration of mythology and personal storylines. Hi everyone, this is me.
Look how cool I am. Just wanted to take a 15-second break from the video to say that if you're enjoying the video, then please consider taking a look at some of the other videos on the channel. If any look interesting to you, check them out. You'll be doing yourself a favour if you really think about it, and then subscribe while you're there. I would love to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so I'd really appreciate it if you stuck around as long as you enjoy the content. I even have a playlist on the channel for what I think are some of my best videos, so they're easy viewing. Thanks guys, back to the video. But if there was one aspect of Hellblade 2 that impressed me the most, it would undoubtedly be how effectively it manages to build tension. Lights off, headphones on, this game draws you in so delicately that you feel everything. So let's discuss how it does that. Hellblade 2 succeeds in leveraging a combination of atmospheric design, psychological horror elements, and storytelling techniques. The game's visual and auditory design plays a crucial role in building this tension. The environments are meticulously crafted to evoke a sense of dread and unease. Dark, oppressive landscapes, coupled with haunting soundscapes, really keeps you on edge. The use of binaural audio continues to create an immersive experience in Hellblade 2, making you feel as though you are hearing voices and sounds from all around, mirroring Senua's psychosis. Ninja Theory utilise binaural and spatial audio in order to create their atmosphere, and it means that in order to get the most out of Hellblade 2, you just have to play with headphones. Most games are more immersive with headphones, but for an experience such as this, it's borderline imperative. Binaural audio is critical in creating the immersive experience though, playing a pivotal role in the game's ability to draw you into Senua's world. This technology uses two microphones to record sound in a way that mimics how humans naturally perceive auditory information, creating a 3D soundscape that significantly enhances the sense of presence and realism. It's particularly effective in conveying Senua's psychosis. The voices and sounds in the game are designed to move around your head, closely mimicking how Senua experiences her auditory hallucinations. This creates an unsettling and immersive atmosphere, making you feel as though you're experiencing Senua's mental state firsthand. The voices, sometimes whispering intimately into one ear and sometimes rapidly moving around the head, add a layer of psychological depth and tension that is central to what this game is trying to achieve. In addition to enhancing psychological immersion, the audio also significantly impacts how you yourself perceive and interact with the game's environment. Sounds are placed with precise spatial accuracy, whether it's the distant crashing of waves, the echo of a shout in a cave, or the eerie buzz of flies in an abandoned village. This meticulous placement of sounds not only helps in creating a realistic environment, but also in conveying the emotional tone of different scenes. Moments of silence, broken only by subtle ambient noises, heighten tension and reflect Senua's internal state. The game also taps into psychological horror by blurring the lines between reality and Senua's hallucinations. This unpredictability keeps you constantly guessing, unsure of what is real and what is imagined. The tension is heightened by the game's ability to seamlessly shift between moments of calm and intense terror on a whim. The general direction of the game is astoundingly good. The deep emotional investment in Senua's story also contributes to the tension. As you become more connected to her journey, the stakes feel higher, and each challenge she faces is more impactful. The narrative is interwoven with themes of trauma, loss and survival, making every encounter feel significant. No section of the game exemplifies how effectively tension is built though than Chapter 4. The chapter I had the least fun playing, but was definitely the best one. Chapter 4 sees Senua attempting to come into contact with the hidden folk in order to learn how to defeat the giants. It starts off calm, with you making your way through what are really the only good puzzles in the whole game. I was having a grand old time doing this, until we entered the cave. That's where things took a bit of a turn. The cave is a particularly foreboding environment, utilising dark and claustrophobic spaces that evoke a sense of entrapment. The intricate details of this setting, combined with the unsettling visual cues, kept me on edge as I navigated through it. This is where the expert pacing comes into play. The pacing of Chapter 4 is expertly managed, starting with slower, more exploratory sections that gradually build up into more intense and frantic moments. This gradual increase in tension allows for a more impactful climax. Chapter 4 delves deeper into Senua's psyche, presenting more frequent and vivid hallucinations.
The use of visual distortions and audio cues to represent her mental state creates a disorienting and unsettling experience. The chapter effectively conveys a sense of paranoia and fear that Senua has to be feeling, forcing you to share in her psychological distress, mirrored by the claustrophobia evoked via the caves. The intensity of the combat encounters in Chapter 4 is another key factor in building tension. The enemies are the most challenging in the game, in my opinion, in this area, and the combat sequences are designed to be relentless, requiring you to remain alert and responsive. The stakes feel higher, and the threat of failure looms larger. The combat across the whole game just feels so desperate. They do an otherworldly good job of making each individual encounter feel as though it has a great importance. There's one part of this chapter where the cave is pitch black, other than a moving stream of light along the ground. You must stick to this light path or be devoured by the enemies lurking in the darkness. This sounds simple, but the light path moves quicker than you expect it to, and the game constantly reminds you of the threat, either through the sound cues accentuated by the spatial audio, or through flashing shadows on the cave walls. This was the most stressful moment in the game, and it was built up through bubbling tension and precise pacing. The narrative developments in Chapter 4 also raise the emotional stakes for Senua. Encounters with antagonistic figures and the uncovering of personal revelations push her to her limits, both physically and mentally. This whole section is a test by the Hidden Folk to determine whether Senua is worthy. This deepens the emotional investment, making the tension feel more personal and impactful. As a video game, Hellblade 2 is serviceable. The combat works, but doesn't reinvent the wheel. The puzzles exist for pacing reasons, but they're not fun or complex. But as an experience, Hellblade 2 is admirable. This is an experience that I thoroughly enjoyed, and one I look back on fondly come the end of the year when cultivating my Game of the Year list. Once I realised that I had been viewing Hellblade all wrong, I was treated to a great experience, and that's what Hellblade 2 taught me. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. I hope that you did enjoy it. If you did, then please consider leaving a like, because that would mean a massive amount to me, and if you want to see more videos from me, you could always subscribe, because I upload every single week. But for now, that is all from me. Have a nice day, and goodbye.